3, 2, 1. Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck. My name is Adam Orduna, this is my mom Gina, and we are going into our fourth segment here of the 2016 NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament. Going into our bracketology here, we are now diving into the Midwest region here with the number one team, or the number one seed, being Virginia. This is an interesting region because, as you mentioned, there actually isn't any bunny brackets or bubble teams in this region. So these are just straight up matchups. And all this is going to be an exciting region.
I think, and with all respect to everybody else who's playing, I think this Midwest region is going to be some of your best basketball of the tournament. So let's just dive right in.
Okay.
We've got number 1 Virginia versus number 16 Hampton. There's nothing to talk about there. Hampton, congratulations, make it to the dance. Enjoy your one game. It is Virginia all the way.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's not much to say. I think Virginia is just too good, and Hampton, congratulations, but this is going to be a short-lived season for you guys here in the postseason. So yeah, Virginia wins that one. In the next round, this is a real head-scratcher. We've got the 8 and 9 seeds are always very tough.
Always
you
tough.
Really, I've been saying that
games.
You can flip a coin. I just say that because they're so close and evenly matched teams. But in this one specifically, we've got Texas Tech as the 8 seed and Butler as the 9 seed. Texas Tech coming out of the Big 12 and Butler coming out of the Big East. Both teams have had tough seasons, but have played really well. I like both teams, but I'm actually going to pick Texas Tech. I just think that they're playing the best basketball right now.
I'm not going to lie. I'm inclined to pick Butler here, but I'm doing a heart pick because I just love Tubby Smith. I think you're talking about a class act and a great coach. Also, I'm always going to defer to the Big 12 as much as possible where it makes sense, and it makes sense to me here. So I'm also going to go with Texas Tech. Next up, we've got number 5 Purdue versus number 12 Arkansas Little Rock. I don't want to spend a ton of time here. I will say this, that if you don't know, sometimes we use a little slang here or whatever. If you hear say salty, if people are like, what does salty mean? The definition of salty, go Google the Purdue basketball team after their Big Ten loss. For some reason, somebody thought they needed to have a camera on those kids while they're waiting to hear. They knew they were in the tournament, so you're just waiting to hear what seed you are.
Right.
These kids were salty. The faces were like this.
Well, the reason why they were salty is because they lost a championship game.
Absolutely.
And this is moments right afterwards where everyone's sitting around trying to see who's being selected to what seed or whatever. And Purdue's like, I don't care. I already know I'm in.
Do I care if I'm 4 or 5 or 12?
Sitting in front of the camera while you guys look at us and you do that.
But no, that was bad. So that's what salty looks like. Now, that being said, they're going to take that salt and rub it all over Arkansas Little Rock. Purdue big here in that opening round.
Yeah, I think that Purdue's most likely going to go ahead and win this. I do have to say that Arkansas Little Rock is a scrappy team. I don't see them beating Purdue, but I do think they're going to give them a little run for the money in the first couple minutes of the game, and they're going to probably get shocked a little bit, but I do definitely think Purdue's going to go ahead and take this one. So we're going to go ahead to the number 4 seed, Iowa State, versus number 13 seed, Iona. Once again, I don't really think this is much of a discussion. Big 12 team against an MAAC team, and Iona, I don't think this is much of a matchup. Iowa State the whole way.
Ditto. Iowa State, nothing to talk about. But here's something to talk about. Number 6, Seton Hall versus number 11, Gonzaga. All righty. I want to pick Seton Hall. They're the higher seed for a reason. They've been playing good ball, their story program. But Gonzaga is no longer a Cinderella school. They haven't been for a decade. This is a basketball school. This is a team that knows how to recruit players. They've got height and speed right now. And I think Gonzaga plays good, solid defense. That's one of the things I feel like they've always been known for. I'm actually going to pick against my gut here and go Gonzaga, go the Zags against over Seton Hall here.
I could have said it better myself. I totally agree. The way that Seton Hall did overtake that Big East championship game against Villanova was really impressive. It really showed me that they're ready to play. But I have seen a lot more Gonzaga games, and they have really done a good job this season. They were kind of under the radar, but they've really picked up momentum towards the end of the season. And I'm with you. I'm going to go with Gonzaga. I just really think they've got a lot to offer. But it's going to be a really, really good game.
I'm telling you,
be a good game.
The Midwest has got good matchups up and
some
down.
Fights, exactly.
You say Gonzaga, I say Gonzaga, tomato. Well, let's talk about Utah, number 3, versus number 14, Fresno State. I think we could live here for a minute, but I don't think it's worth it. I'll be honest, I have not seen a ton of Pac-12 games. I really never even got to see Utah play well, so I'm going to defer to people who have watched them. They gave them a 3 seed for a reason, so I'm just going to pick on the seed there and go with number 3, Utah.
Yeah, I also haven't seen a lot of Utah this year. I do know they're a solid team. They're athletic. They run up and down the court. They're a really good team. They have shown that they're capable of winning big-time games. But for some reason, something is telling me that Fresno State is going to be the team that be kind of the first trip-up game. And I think Fresno State has been playing really good basketball. I did get a chance to see them in their conference tournament, and they looked really strong. Remind me a lot of Baylor, big, strong guys out there playing basketball. And so I think Fresno State might be able to bully Utah a little bit. And I think that might be the first upset for this region in that game. So I'm going to go with Fresno State, actually.
All right.
So now we're going to go ahead from that to the number 7 seeded Dayton Flyers to the number 10 seeded Syracuse Orangemen.
Another great game.
Really, really good game. I'm actually just going to go with it and straight on with Syracuse. I think Dayton's a scary team. This is a tournament team that everyone always needs to look out for. But I do like Jim Boeheim, and I just think Syracuse is a better team.
I'm going to go Orangemen here. I could give you a lot of reasons, but at the end of the day, I think Boeheim's been there, done that. I think they're coming off a tough season last year. I think they've got a chip on their shoulders, something to prove. I'm going with Syracuse.
Well,
that brings us to number 2, Michigan State versus number 15, Middle Tennessee State. I'm just going to put it out there. Michigan State is flat out a number 1 seed. I get that Virginia got the number 1 seed. I understand all that. Michigan State then, by the way, won the Big Ten. This is one of the best teams in college basketball right now. They should have been the number 1 seed. They are going to come in, and poor Middle Tennessee State, I'm so sorry for you. They got something to prove, and it's going to be a blowout Michigan State. Yeah,
Michigan State is just, they've got too much, and Denzel Valentine is not going to go out in the first round. Tom Izzo is not going to go out in the first round.
No.
Middle Tennessee State, we appreciate you getting into the tournament, but they aren't going to be able to beat Michigan State.
I think Calipari said it best when he saw that his team was a 4 seed. He's like, that's fine. You want to insult me, slap me in the mouth. If you think you're hurting me, you're not. I'm just going to come run over you. I don't know how hurt Michigan State is about the number 2 seed, but I think they know they're a number 1, and I think they're going to they've got something to prove.
I totally agree.
All right, so I've got Virginia and Texas Tech. Moving on, Purdue and Iowa State, Gonzaga and Utah, and then Syracuse and Michigan State. Where are you going?
Yes, I've got Virginia and Texas Tech, Purdue, Iowa State, Gonzaga, Fresno State, Syracuse, and Michigan State. So only one game off on this one as well. So
you get that
very
pick.
Similar. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Virginia over Texas Tech. I love Tubby Smith, love the Big 12. Ultimately, I just think Virginia is just a little bit better, and I think they're playing really good basketball right now. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Virginia in that one.
I'm a ditto on that. Tubby, I would love to see you pick that and get that upset.
Absolutely.
Maybe get a
That'd
deeper
be really
run
fun
than
to see that.
It would be wonderful, but I think Virginia's just the better team, top to bottom, right now. Watch out for Texas Tech, though.
Texas Tech is
the next
a very scrappy
years.
team.
I'm going Virginia. All right. Well, then we both have Purdue and Iowa State. Again, Purdue, I think, is going to come out strong in that first game, but Iowa State is a team. They have been going at it in the Big 12. They were the Big 12 champs last year, upsetting KU. They didn't get it done this year in the tournament, but game after game, they were in there fighting. They are strong. They're tall. They got a young, aggressive coach. I'm telling you, this is going to be an Iowa State good win over Purdue here.
Yeah, I really have seen Iowa State just get better and better. This is where they live. I like Iowa State. They're a Big 12 team. Not to say that Purdue isn't worth a pick, but I just think with Georges Niang and all of the people that they've got going on there, I just have to pick Iowa State in this one. So with my pick, this is where we do have differences here. We do have Gonzaga over Seton Hall, but I do have Fresno State over Utah. And so with that, I'm actually still going to pick Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga's, now if it is Utah, it's going to be a tough matchup, but with this setup, I definitely think Gonzaga is going to be able to take Fresno State.
Well, you're right. I do have Gonzaga, but I have Utah. I've got the Utes in there, and this is where I think Gonzaga might run up against the wall. Again, this is a total throwing a dart at the wall, so if I happen to be right, don't give me any credibility for this, because I've never even watched Utah this year, but somebody somewhere watched them and thought that they deserved a 3 seed. They're coming out of a pretty decent conference out of the Pac-12.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to go Utah over Gonzaga here.
All right.
Oh, Neokin? Okay,
yes.
I'm sorry, my bad.
Well,
all right, well, then we're down to the Orangemen versus the Spartans. I love you, Syracuse. I really do. I've always been in there with you, but Michigan State is playing some of the best ball out there. I think it's going to be a great game. I think this could be a trip-up game for Michigan State, but I think at the end, Izzo has got it. And I said this earlier. I think if Michigan State is down 10 points with a minute and a half left, I'm still betting on Michigan State. Tom Izzo is not going down like that.
Safe bet.
So I'm going Michigan State.
I'm also going Michigan State. I think Syracuse is still recovering from some of the off-season violations that they had to overcome, and I just think there's some things that they're still kind of working out, but they're definitely deserving to be in the tournament, but I just don't think they're playing quite as well as Michigan State right now, and so I'm picking the Spartans over the Orangemen. Okay, so now we have Virginia, Iowa State.
Yep.
Gonzaga versus Michigan State.
And I have Virginia, Iowa State, Utah versus Michigan State.
Okay.
This is breaking my heart to pick against the Cyclones right now, but I do think Virginia is playing great solid ball. I think Iowa State could get them. I think if you play this game 10 times, you're going to be 6 times, Virginia, 4 times Iowa State. So I'm just going to go with Virginia here.
I'm also going to go Virginia. I just think Iowa State's legs are probably going to start to give out at some point, and I think Virginia is built for more of this style of play, and so I just think Virginia is probably going to go ahead and take that against Iowa State.
All right.
So,
and then
yes, well,
I think
my pick was Gonzaga over Fresno State, and so now we have Gonzaga over Michigan State. I just, once again, can't say enough about Tom Izzo and Denzel Valentine. I think the Spars are going to go ahead and take Gonzaga, although I think it would be a good matchup.
Well, I have Utah getting in there, but I have Utah going home. Michigan State is going to go ahead and take that. Michigan State or Utah. So that gets us, I think I've got Virginia up top of Michigan State, and I think you have the same thing.
Yes.
So it's Michigan State versus Virginia to see who's going to get that last Final Four spot.
Correct.
I'll go first and let you have the last word. Never betting against Izzo. Never betting against Izzo. It's Michigan State.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Michigan State the whole time. Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's going
March
to be
Madness.
interesting. Yes. So we will have a lot more to talk
We'll have
about
to
here
follow
in the
up,
next
see-
few days.
See how bad my bracket gets after the first week.
It's going to be crazy. Anything can happen in these tournaments, so nothing is ever set in stone. So that's why you just got to come out and play well and just hope that everyone enjoys their time.
But we do have to say this. Congratulations to everybody who made it in. We
Yes.
may not have given a bunch of love because I don't think there's going to be a Cinderella win this year. But every team who's in there, congratulations. Good luck.
Good luck to all the kids out there. This is an exciting time for everyone to watch, and so we hope that the tournament holds up and everyone can enjoy themselves by watching the tournament, and hopefully the brackets aren't too busted by the Final
Friday.
Four. Yeah. Exactly, or by Friday even. Yeah, so with that, we will have much more, as I mentioned before, and we will continue our bracketology and give you updates. But we just want to say thank you for watching, and we appreciate your time, folks.